Hi everyone! Before we jump into our today's tutorial, I would like to talk a little bit about this wonderful YouTube collaboration I am so excited to be a part of. This is a collaboration on the occasion of Cardmaking Day 2023, which falls on the 7th of October. And the collaboration is between Monica from Crafting with Quilling Lady, Monica aka Paper Mona, and myself. The three of us have brought you a challenge in which, if you participate, you can win the wonderful digital collection designed by Monica from Crafting with Quilling Lady, and it is called Color Your World. To be in a chance of winning, all you have to do is follow a few very simple steps. So you have to subscribe to all of our three YouTube channels. The other two ladies will be linked in the description box below. Like all three videos and comment on them. Use one or more of our free designs, of which I will talk about in a wee minute, and create one of the fancy folds. The fancy fold list is again in the description box below that you can choose from. And all you have to do is post it on your social media, the project that you make, post it on your social media using the hashtag CardMakingDayChallenge 2023. The deadline to enter this challenge is the 31st of October of this year. So I already mentioned that as part of this collaboration, each of us have designed and provided for you a free digital file which you can download and use in your card making. To find out what the other two ladies have made, you have to go over to their channel and find it out for yourself. My free offering today is this gorgeous digital stamp of a gnome couple. This is a hand-drawn stamp by me, and then I uploaded it onto my digital software and converted it into a digital stamp. I really hope you like it, because I do. I have to say I love it. So cute. I love gnomes. So if you decide to download my file, to which the link will be in the description box below, this is what you will get exactly as you see it on my screen right now. You will get the black and white version of the stamp, which you can print out and color in yourself, or you will also get the colored in version and a sentiment that says "Thankful for you." I'm going to use this today to create this card you can see on my screen. This is the Z-fold hexagonal easel card, I guess. This is what it looks like from the side view, and it is such a wonderful card. I'm going to start today's tutorial with a bit of coloring using coloring pencils from the Black Widow range. If you don't want to see me coloring this image, it's absolutely fine. Just skip ahead a few minutes to where I'm starting to assemble this card. For those that want to watch me coloring this, I am going to warn you, I'm no professional. It is quite out of my comfort zone to use coloring pencils in my coloring, my first video tutorial ever doing this. And I'm just going to give you my advice, my opinion, what I found out when I was practicing loads and loads and loads off camera using coloring pencils. So the first thing that I discovered, do not press down too hard. If you want to achieve a darker shade of a certain color, use a light pressure and keep going over and over and over again until you achieve your desired shade. This way, you will not get the shiny waxy finish on your cardstock, but rather a much smoother blend, and it will look a lot nicer and a lot more professional. The way I like to color in is I'm coming in with darker shades from the outside of the image, and towards the middle I'm lightening the shade. For every single section on this picture now, I'm using 3 different shades of a certain color. So for example, 3 shades of greens, 3 shades of purples, 3 shades of blue, 3 shades of yellows, and so on, and oranges, of course, for the pumpkins. I'm not going to show you the coloring of the whole entire image because it would just drag it out to way too long, but I'm going to show you a few bits and pieces, and for this I will put some music on, and then I will come back and I will show you how I assemble this really lovely fun fold card. The magic of editing, the image is colored in. Just a few finishing touches here before I upload this onto my computer to convert into a digital image for you all to download if you wish to use this one as opposed to the one that you need to color in yourself. You're very welcome. As long as you like it, it makes me happy. Okay, so my latest, well, one of my latest additions from Craftstash is this hexagonal die set, which I had to get using. So the largest die, that is about like 8 by 7 inches, I cut out two heavyweight white piece of cardstocks, and butting one of the straight edges onto the side of my scoreboard, I scored down at 1/2 inch and then straight down the middle from corner to corner. I'm going to fold and burnish those score lines, but I'm not going to glue this to the other piece just yet, because from the next size down, I've cut out this orange piece of cardstock, and this is a heavyweight cardstock again, and this is from the Lidl range. And then from the next two bits, I've cut out this holographic gold frame. If you've seen any of my videos before, you know that I love using glitter cardstock, mirror cardstock, anything to add a little bit of a shine and sparkle to my cards, and this one is no different. I've taken that same orange cardstock and I cut another same size of hexagonal, and then taking my trimmer, I've sized it down, I've cut it down to the size that will fit just onto the front of that halfway scored hexagon. I hope this makes sense. I'm going to use my color glue in here just to glue it onto that white card base, and then using my quick grab glue, I'm going to add it just to that 1/2 inch of a tab before attaching it to my card base. It is quite easy to line it up. The two hexagons will line up perfectly because they are the same size, obviously, so it is not that hard to line it up. I'm just making sure I'm applying enough pressure in there to make sure that the glue grabs onto that piece of mirror cardstock in there. And this is how the base of my card will create the Z-fold hexagonal base, I guess. So now I went down the size again on my hexagons, and I've cut out two pieces of white heavyweight cardstocks. To turn this into a top folding card, I needed a hinge. This one measures 1 by 3 inches, cordine at halfway on the 1 inch side at half an inch. And you can see I added glue to one of those half inches and I glued one of those hexagons onto it. And now I'm taking the other hexagon and lining it up with the one below, gluing it on top of that hinge, and it's properly concealed now. So I'm going to add some color glue at the back of the whole one of those hexagons. And I'm going to glue this in the middle of that orange one. Now that gold frame just gorgeously frames it up, as you can see in there. And now we can start seeing how this card will come together. With the next two sizes down of the hexagons, I've cut out the same gold holographic hexagon in there. And with the small, I'm going to glue this onto that white piece now. And that smaller hexagon on the right hand side that you can see, the white one, is actually cut out of watercolor cardstock. And this is the watercolor cardstock from Craft Stash, the Creative Craft product range. It's nice and smooth. I'm going to do some ink blending here. The Distress Oxides I'm using are Wilted Violet, Spice Marmalade, and Maud Lawn. I am going kind of for an evening look. Like, my idea for this card was like those two gnomes have been out harvesting all day and they had just come back and it's already evening time. I'm not going for a realistic look. I'm going for quite a whimsical look in here. Now you can see how my Maud Lawn is quite dried in. It's not very juicy at this point. It's quite overused. Can still create a really nice blend with it. Just takes a little bit more work than with the more juicy rings. So I keep coming back with the purple a little bit more because the orange dulls it down quite a bit in there. So now I clean up my mat and I'm going to spritz some water on this. When doing that, I like to give it just 1 or 2 spritzes and dry it off, and then if I need to, I come back with more spritzes. I prefer to have less on it than having too much, and then I can't come back and fix it again. I decided that I needed some more splatters on the purple bit, and now I'm quite happy with it. Now, because of the next step that I'm going to take, I would normally let this air dry, but for the sake of this video, I'm going to give it a quick blast with my heat tool. I'm going to use a stencil to create some clouds, and this is from an older version of a Creating Stamping magazine I have in my stash. I think this was by Daisy May, and I'm using white pigment ink. Now, I have decided to go for a whimsical look, so I'm not adding too much of the pigment ink. I want the colors from behind the clouds to show through. I did think about using Versamarking and some white embossing powder, but I thought it would be too overwhelming then, and I want the gnomes and the stamped colored in image to be the star of the show in here. So I'm just adding a little layer, very thin layer of the pigment ink in here. And if you stay with me, I will show you an example why you shouldn't use a lot of pigment ink and not let it dry properly. It will smudge all over the place. This was a learning curve for me, my first time ever using pigment ink over Distress Oxides. And here I just came in with a little brush just to smooth out where I thought I had too much of that pigment ink lying in there. And now I'm going to fussy cut my image. I do own a Silhouette digital cutting machine, which I could have easily used to cut this image out. And if you own any digital cutting machines like that, whether it be a Cricut or a Brothers Scan and Cut or a Silhouette Cameo, you can cut these out, obviously. But I know that not everyone does, and that's why I wanted to show you that it is not very hard to fussy cut these at all. Now, I like to leave a little white border around my images when I'm fussy cutting, and the scissors that I'm using here are the Tonic Studios ones. I think these are the 5 inches version, perhaps. I know that other creators are advising all different scissors for fussy cutting. It's what works for you. These images are not hard to do. My advice on this here is go around the larger pieces that are more straightforward and then keep going back to the little more fiddly bits. Now, as you will see, my gold frame encompasses completely that ink blended frame. There's no white gap between them, so I used the smaller of those that I cut out the frame to cut out the piece I was ink blending on. Now I'm looking to see where I want to put my gnomes on, and even though there's a green ink blended area there, I didn't feel they were completely grinded. So I've cut out a few of these grass dyes, which is from Lone Fawn, but you can use any grass dyes that you may have, and I added Maude Lawn to them, the same color as it's on the ink blending on my background in there. And now I'm going to, because they're quite short, I do have a longer grass dye somewhere, but I couldn't find it. So, but it doesn't matter. You can use whatever you have, and I'm going to use how to use these shorter versions. So I'm going to glue 2 and 2 together, and then I'm going to use it as one like that, and I'm going to add a few layers. I think there's 4 layers in there. Now that piece of white hexagon in there, this is just from my scraps I cut out to the same size as the ink blended one, just to use as a guide on what size I need them to be to fit them within that frame in there. And now this gives me enough height for my gnomes to go in there. And in here I was thinking, should I or shouldn't I add the gnomes on foam pads? And I will add foam pads to these, and I will show you a difference at the end of this video, what it looks like if you don't add foam pads. I think this makes a whole lot of a difference. So I'm just going to glue it in there. On top of foam pads, I applied a little bit of liquid glue as well to make sure it gets a real good bond. And now the grass, and the top layer of that grass is kind of overhanging those little shoes and the basket in there. So it looks like they are standing in the grass. I have printed out also the sentiment that says "Thankful for you" on white cardstock, which I'm going to back up on this gold piece of cardstock. And now this measures about 3 1/4 by 7/8 of an inch, something along that lines. It depends on how thick you want that frame to be. Now I just have to line it up in the middle just to decide where exactly I want it to go, and I'm going to add a couple of foam pads onto the bottom part of the sentiment, not the top part, bottom part, and I'm going to apply anti-static powder just on the sides of it before I peel back the backing of those. Because this is the part where I will be tucking my front flap behind. This is what's going to hold the whole easel card together, and I don't want that front flap to stick to that. I want to be able to tuck it in and then pull it out again, just like so. And this is the card. Just look at that. Your message can go either on the back or on the inside of the card. And this is it, our card nice and ready. But now just watch. I promise you that I will show you different versions. So if you ever envision a card and it doesn't turn out to be the way you want it to, do not give up. I really did not like the way I made this card. There was no foam pads behind the gnomes. I smudged pigmenting. There wasn't enough grass in there, and I just did not like the look of it. I was wondering, how am I going to make this into a card that I really like? And it's such small details that made the whole lot of a change. I absolutely love the card that we just made together. So by adding foam pads, more layers of grass, just being more patient with the pigmenting has made a whole lot of a difference. Honestly, it's just one card I absolutely adore now. So autumnal, colorful and whimsical. I really adore how this card turned out. If you liked today's tutorial too, please do not forget to download my digital stamp and use our hashtag, and also check out the other 2 ladies tutorials which are linked below. And please do give me the thumbs up and comment on the video below. Also, if you haven't yet subscribed to my channel, please consider doing so. I will be back soon with another lovely tutorial, and until then, bye!